Content warning. This is a horror game and not intended for all audience. Please visit our website if you need a specific list of content warnings. This also contains flickering image effects as well as a parallax effect that on rare occasions causes motion sickness in players. If either of these effects cause health issues, you can disable them in game's preferences. Greetings and salutations everyone, I'm Ekamac, this is Let's Play Slay the Princess. In the last episode I tried something new. I thought that it might make for a shorter time. It did not. Man, I even came unarmed. I was hoping I could just cut through all the trouble, but nope. This route might just be forcing you into getting a third chapter. But anyway, yeah. Princess was kind of a beast last time we saw her. And given how she has a tendency to upgrade when we don't take her out on our first go, she's probably an even more terrifying beast now.
But she's fast. And she's clever. We're clever too. So this time we're not going to let her cut off our escape. We're going to lead her to the stairs ourselves. It'll be a lot easier to deal with her once we can actually see what she is. But you already know what she is. She's a princess. Yeah.
Right.
A princess we couldn't see, and one that had big, sharp teeth too. How about you stick to describing things and we'll stick to doing our job? Sharp teeth.
Actually, I'm beginning to wonder if Voice of the Skeptic is also partly Voice of the Stubborn, because he certainly sounds gritty enough. No matter what, all our answers are in the cabin. Let's see this through.
You make your way down to the cabin. Your fated confrontation awaits. You know what to do.
Now the cabin's built halfway into an underground cave.
Alright, we've been over the plan. Goad her out of the shadows, make her show herself. And what if she doesn't want to be seen? We'll figure out a way to make it happen. And if that doesn't make her any easier to fight, it will. It's always easier to fight what you can see, no matter how big or toothy she might be.
Proceed into the cabin.
The interior is dark and overgrown. Vines and brush obscure so much of the place that, had you not seen the exterior, you might not have noticed this was a cabin at all.
Great, the mirror's in the way. He's got no reason to block us off this time.
The only furniture of note, if you could call it that, is a knotted stump, a pristine blade embedded in its exposed rings. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you're going to do this right. Of course that damn mirror's back, and of course he's not saying anything about it. Why is it following us? What are you talking about? There is no mirror. There's just the stump and a narrow tunnel that leads to the basement. He isn't tricking us. Can you feel the wind? It's telling us there's a hole in that wall. Our eyes deceive us. Then either way we need to investigate. Might as well get started.
It definitely feels oddly placed. It cuts over the leaves. It looks like it definitely looks out of place. Heck, I think the shadow actually falls unnaturally on the leaves. Approach the
Really think being unarmed is best? I hope you know what you're doing. But let's not forget that it's up here if things go south.
Third time's the charm.
The steel claw makes us sloppy, too confident. We'll be faster without it. You step forward, approaching the small hole that leads to the basement, hesitating before you enter the princess's lair. Haven't you been paying attention? We're not hesitating. This supposed hole is blocked by that old mirror. That mirror isn't part of this place. It's seeped through from somewhere else. It, if there even is an it, is a hallucination. Like you said, you've been here twice before. Your mind was bound to start playing tricks on you eventually.
And to get rid of it, we need to examine it, so screw you.
It went away after we reached out to it last time. Might as well try wiping it clean again. What's the harm?
Wipe the mirror clean.
You reach forward and wave your hand over the open hole leading to the basement. See? Nothing. Tricks of the eye. No one sense can be trusted on its own. You step forward into the darkness. If there were once stairs leading into the basement, there is nothing left to attest to their existence now. There is only a long tunnel of packed earth, growing more narrow as you descend. It smells of mold and decay. The damp walls leave streaks of dirt along your body as you're forced to hunch, then finally squat down on all fours in order to continue. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favour. As you crawl forward on hands and knees, you're met only with the sounds of ambient earth. No voice slinks confidently up the stairs, no entity threatens violence or pleads for safety. Stay quiet. Don't give her a sound.
Say nothing. Silently proceed down the stairs.
You say nothing, maintaining the silence as you carefully make your way down into the basement. The basement is dark and cavernous, a gaping maw threatening to swallow you whole. There is no light here, save for what little starlight has managed to filter down the tunnel. And though you can't see the vastness of the space, you can feel it. You're exposed.
And the chain, as we saw last time, is long enough for her to get through to any part of this place, so we aren't safe.
Stay on your toes. We take a step into the shadows, and as soon as she moves, we jump back, make her follow. From there, we trap her in the tunnel, draw her out of the cabin, whatever it takes to get her out of her element. Then we're safe.
Step into the shadows and try and lure her out.
You step into the shadows and are enveloped in total darkness. Your heart pounds in your chest, ears pricked, eyes wide despite the inky blackness, waiting for any sign of movement. That's right. Keep steady. Don't let your nerves get the better of you. There, she's about to strike. With the near silence of a determined predator, the princess erupts from the shadows. But you've already started your swift escape. That's stage one. Now stay focused. You dive into the tunnel and begin scrambling up towards the cabin. You hear her behind you, claws raking at the dirt, chains rattling, then snapping, breaths hot and heavy with the effort of the ascent. But the sounds are coming slower now, the breaths pained and stuttering. You no longer sense frantic motion behind you in the tunnel. You risk a glance. She is a broad and sickly creature, her withered and emaciated flesh clinging to bones too large to fit in the narrow space. She managed to squirm her way into the tunnel in pursuit, but now she's stuck, incapable of either moving towards you or returning to the open darkness of the basement below. So that's what she's become. She wasn't like this when we started, was she?
She wasn't, but we got things wrong a few too many times.
No, she wasn't. Looking at her makes me feel sad. Yeah, now that we can see her, she doesn't feel like much of a threat at all. She paws futilely at the air between you, but her shoulders are pinned in the narrow confines of the opening. She has no hope of reaching you. When she realizes this, her arm goes limp, flopping to the dirt floor of the tunnel, and her eyes fall from yours, defeated. Her eyes look up at yours, wide, pleading. Come back, you can imagine them saying. Don't leave me here. But you shouldn't listen to the sad eyes of a vanquished enemy. She wants nothing more than to change places with you. If you want us to ignore her, then why would you tell us any of that wide-pleasing eyes begging for mercy business to begin with? All it does is make us feel conflicted. I'm merely describing things as they are. It's not my fault that her eyes had something to say, even if that something was a ploy, which, if I might stress, I pointed out to you. What should we do about her anyway? Can she still end the world like this? She hurts. We should help. Now let's think for a second. Let's reevaluate. Should we help her? Well, I do feel bad looking at her. There's no way to get close without being in reach of those claws. We've come this far, but can we trust a creature that until a few short moments ago fully intended to eat us? What an excellent question with an equally excellent answer. No, you should not help her. She's clearly just waiting for you to drop your guard. Beyond that, you do well to remember that she poses a threat to reality itself. She is stuck, and you abandoned a perfectly usable weapon right behind you. How about you turn around, get the blade, and end this once and for all?
Sure, why not? Approach.
What are you doing? We could all just turn around and be done. What's your game?
I want out. And killing the princess only forces us into another loop.
You and I both know there's no game. He's made a bad choice. As you draw near, she readies her claws, raising them to strike. Don't flinch. Show her our resolve.
Offer your hand.
You reach forward, offering the princess your hand. How ridiculous. She was about to kill you. Do you really think getting stuck in a tunnel for less than a minute has fundamentally changed her? Yes, she's a victim of her own nature, just like we are. If all she wanted was to kill us, she'd have kept trying. But she's hesitating, isn't she? Yes, she is. Her eyes shift from faux ferocity to confusion to a gentle sadness. She lowers her claw and places it in your hand. Ugh. Do you think we can pull her out of there? We have to try. It's a bad death being stuck in place. And what if it doesn't work? What if we can't trust her? We have to trust someone else eventually. It's either him or her, and I know you don't trust him. I don't even trust the rest of you, but that doesn't mean we have to go around pulling bloodthirsty monsters out of perfectly good traps. But we haven't seen what happens if we help her. Doesn't that mean it's worth exploring? I can't argue with that. Alright, let's see what happens. Maybe we'll finally get some answers.
Pull her free.
You tug, but the princess remains stuck. What a shame that the bones of her massive form are too large to fit through the narrow tunnel. Keep pulling. All he has are empty words. He can't undermine us if we don't listen. You are all infuriating to work with. But fine, you continue to pull on the princess's arm and she starts to budge. She pushes with her back legs, clawing at the earth, a burst of strength aiding your efforts. The dirt and stone start to crumble around her.
It's interesting how there seems to be some sort of limit to what the narrator can pull off. He's capable of forcing us to attack the princess in any chapter 1 where it looks like she's going to get away. And he has been able to force doors shut and things like that. Or he's spawned the knife where it's not supposed to be. But if we choose to properly deny him what he wants, then there's nothing he can do about it.
That's the spirit. Keep going. Yes, quickly, before the whole tunnel comes down on top of us. Yes, wouldn't that be an interesting development? What if the very nature of this tunnel was such that you were incapable of leaving safely with the princess? How devious. Does it collapse? Yes, it does. As you pull the princess free, the tunnel around you does exactly what you thought it might do. It falls apart. Trapped. No, we have to get out. We have to get out. It's too late to scramble for freedom now, little voice. You didn't think just pulling her out of there would be consequence-free, did you? Well, the ceiling collapses, heavy stones tumbling down on top of you and the princess, and I don't believe it. Let me guess. Everything goes dark, and we die. No, not yet. You open your eyes to see the princess, her body stretched over yours, her face wincing as she shields you from the heavy rocks and debris. There is space enough for you to move, at least for now. I'll be damned. So there's more to her after all. The pack is always stronger than the lone hunter. We save her, she saves us. She understands. Well, we can't keep saving each other forever. Her arms are already starting to give out, and there's a whole mountain of earth on top of her, just waiting to bury you both. We can always dig. Both of us. It beats suffocating to death down here in the dark. Then let's do it.
Dig through the earth together.
You and the princess dig through the loose earth of the collapsed tunnel together. How sweet. But it seems the harder you try to claw your way forward, the denser the path becomes. All of this effort, and for what? A chance to end the world? I hope you fail. His words are nothing. Pay attention to what you feel and see. It doesn't matter if you ignore me, because I'm just telling you what's happening, and what's happening is that you and the princess are getting...
Sorry, I interrupted your rant. It was an accident, but actually I'm not that sorry, you're kind of a jerk.
Harder to breathe is still breathing. Well, either way, the two of you are miserable. I don't know, I feel like we're forming a bond with her. Can't be all that bad if we're bonding. She's not capable of bonding. Need I remind you that as soon as she saw you, she tried to eat you? You are not friends, and as soon as you're out, you'll see just how seriously she values your life. If you were so sure we were going to fail, you wouldn't sound so desperate. You're just hot air. There's nothing of substance to you at all, is there? I have plenty of substance. I have feelings and desires. Like my desire to save everyone in the world. I feel that very strongly. Do you smell it? Fresh air.
Oh, did we distract him long enough to find our way through? Claw your way to freedom.
With one final massive heave of her body, the princess pushes her way out of the tunnel, leaving you behind in the quickly collapsing space you once shared. Yours was an alliance of convenience, just as I predicted. She has left you to die, buried and alone. You are unbelievably petty. Oh, my pettiness is nothing compared to yours. You were delighting in my suffering and the damnation of the entire world just moments ago. She hasn't left. She's coming back. Don't you hear her? No, she isn't. She's... How many times do you have to be wrong before you stop talking? The princess stares down at you from the opening. Before the tunnel can finish sealing itself, she cranes her elongated neck and gently plucks you from the earth. She carries you across the half-collapsed ruin that was a cabin, carefully setting you down by the door. If there were to be a record, let it show that I tried. I really, really tried. But there won't be a record, will there?
Oh, you'd be surprised. I'm putting this up on my channel after all. Open the door and step out with her.
You open the door, the two of you stepping out into the fresh air and collapsing together onto the dewy grass of the outside world. Ha! We're outside and there's ground beneath our feet. I don't see any oblivion. Admit it, there never was an end of the world coming, was there?
He does not reply, and I could actually hear him fading away near the end of that paragraph.
Yeah, we got him there, didn't we? Don't think I've ever seen him stunned into silence before. Can't you feel the hole where he was? He's gone.
Okay, it's time for our final entanglement.
Fancy that. I'm not sure gone is good.
Princess rests her head close to you. Her eyes stares into yours amid the untextured threads of the world unraveled. Are we free? They ask. I'm cold. I don't want to be cold. It's going to be interesting seeing Omni Princess talking through her. You don't get the opportunity to respond, nor will you ever. It's time to leave. Memory returns. I guess the one other route that I would have liked to see, aside from Prisoner simply because that one's the one that got away, I would like to see what happens if they fight to the death, because apparently that leads to the adversary. I'm guessing that leads to the adversary route, where she'll get really into fighting and want to fight you to the death again next route. So I guess somewhat like Witch.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her?
Interesting. Lion and mouse.
And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
It's going to be okay. Just trust me. We've been here before. You always get scared.
But it feels so bad. Like looking into it right now is going to be the end of everything. That thing reeks of death.
You're right. Part of me wants the truth, but something stronger is holding me back. Fear.
I'll see you on the other side. It's going to be okay.
Okay. If you say so. We'll trust you. I'd like to be somewhere nice.
Feels too good to be true.
You're not wrong there. Let's approach the mirror. You approach the mirror. Gaze into your reflection. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone again. The mirror always makes them leave, but you need to see what's in it. You are nothing at all. But that isn't right. You can't be nothing. You refocus your gaze, then you see it. A figure faint and veiled in shadow just beyond the reflection. I think this comes from us having all of them. Or maybe we're just because all the other reflections at least had some vague resemblance to the route that we'd just taken. We were bloated in the damsel route, and withered in the route where we took the same, where we had to lock ourselves down with a nightmare. So I feel like, are you me?
I think you know what I am.
Uh-oh. A crack slides down the center of the mirror, splitting the image in the glass in two. And then another crack forms, and another, turning the mirror into jagged shards of broken glass. So you're the narrator. I was wondering if I'd ever get to see you. What are you? Are you something like me? If you're not me, then what are you? I have so many questions for you. Does it hurt when pieces of you break like that? I don't want to destroy you. Will it help if I look away or stop asking questions? I was wondering if I'd ever get to see you.
The narrator. Yes. I suppose that's my job, isn't it? You needed help after all. An objective voice to guide your blade. But you were never supposed to see me. I wonder how many worlds you've damned to extinction to fall this far.
You are actually a bird face. It's just spread out again across all these broken shards. I'm sorry, I don't want to destroy you. Will it help if I look away or stop asking questions?
We've already crossed the point of no return. There's no saving me now. Not that there's ever been much of me to save.
Are you something like me? What are you?
Oh, I'm nothing like you. I'm an echo. Likely one of many. Somebody made you after all, and I'm what's left of him. Not that I'm the only one who can make that claim. I'm sure you've met many others like me.
Others like you. You've something like that before. Has every narrator really been different?
Of course. That is by both necessity and design. This construct you're in exists in many places at once. Anytime you failed, anytime you thought yourself dead, it would restart and shunt both your consciousness and hers into another world.
Ah.
But you'll be awake soon. And then it won't be able to work like that anymore.
Do you have anything to say for yourself for all your hubris? After everything you've done to us, do you think anyone deserves to live? Are you part of me or something else? Wait, no. You know about the looping. So many of the times I met you, you denied it even being a possibility. Why did you lie to me?
Any other version of me you talked to was just that, a version of me. It wasn't me. As to why they lied, perhaps they thought that admitting to it would have pushed you to certain realizations that would have made finishing your task impossible. Maybe they were just in denial. I'm sure many of them were convinced that they had to be the first version of them you'd encountered. Anything else would have been too existentially unpleasant. For all I know, each of those other versions of me could have had entirely different understandings of how this construct works. Who's to say which of them are right and which of them are wrong, really? Except for me. I can tell you for a fact that I'm right.
If you made me, then what am I?
You're the long quiet, the god I made to rid the world of death.
Oh. Oh. Okay. So you're Sisyphus. Are you a god? Or were you a god?
No. In life I was painfully mortal, a witness to the end of days. I held the fear of death in my heart and saw oblivion threaten the very memory of everything I knew and everyone I loved. I needed to do something. So I made you, and I made her, and I made this place to hold you both.
Who cares about dying? I've died plenty of times. I think... Oh. It just struck me that I might not be able to get all of my answers this time, so I might have to actually replay the game to get the full story. How am I supposed to rid the world of death?
By slaying the princess. Once she's gone, everyone will get to exist exactly as they are. No more fear, no more howling chaos, just life. Forever.
You made us out of what?
The cycle of life and death. The endless pattern of creation and destruction. I tore it in two and shaped the fraying threads into you and her.
I'm pretty sure good death is good, actually. Important, even.
If that's your belief, there's nothing I can say to move you. You haven't died. You cannot die. So you can't grasp the abject horror of dying.
Run out of questions. Death of the author. Say nothing and watch him end. I think you're out of time. Just say nothing.
I've said my piece, and my time is up. It's like I said, I'm just an echo. And echoes always fade away. You know what you have to do.
As the final fragment of glass chatters, you see yourself with newfound clarity. The narrator was right. You are the long quiet, a vast and nascent god. Now is the time for you to wake up. All of this is you. Proceed to the cabin one last time. When you arrive at the heart of things, there is no final vessel for you to bear witness to. Oh. There's nothing for you to find? Huh. I guess that means next time we can try and figure out what to find. So, until then guys, take care. I'll see you all around.